And while we were marking the evidence for later identification by us to be used in the evidence, we did, Stovall and I did, take a close look at this Minox Miniature camera, and it did have a roll of film in it. As time passed and after the Warren Commission was appointed, a couple of FBI agents made 3 different trips to our office to talk to me about this camera. They said that after they had received all the property, they found that I had made a mistake and that really wasn't a camera, it was a Minox light meter. However, as I told them at the time, I was sure I hadn't made a mistake because it definitely was a camera and it definitely did have film in it. However, they wanted me to change that in our property invoice to read Minox light meter and not read Minox camera. We never did change it. Captain Fritz instructed me if I was sure I was right not to make any changes in any reports, to stay with what was right. Another thing I remember that I didn't tell you before is that the next morning after the assassination, when we went back to Irving with a search warrant to search Ruth Payne's house again, we looked in the mailbox, and I found a card in the mailbox that from the post office had been delivered by the postman. And the card referred to a package or a letter that had been attempted to be delivered to Lee Oswald. It was one that was either registered or insured or something. It required a signature to obtain. And I sent one of the men to the Irving post office to obtain this letter or package, and the postmaster instructed him that we were too late, that the package had been released to the FBI earlier. We never did see the package, so we have no idea what it was.
Did you ever inquire as to the FBI's disposition of that item or whatever it was?
I didn't personally. I mentioned it to Captain Fritz at the time, and I understand from him that he had inquired, but there were so many agents working that none of them seemed to know who had picked up the letter or package.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else now?
The only other thing that comes to mind was that in the search of the property at Irving, I found a photograph. And the photograph showed the back of a large house with a rear entry driveway and a car, a Chevrolet automobile, sitting in the driveway. And on the photograph, someone had taken a knife or something and cut out that portion of the photograph that showed the license plate on the car. And during the months after it was recovered, I had a couple of inquiries from an FBI agent, and I don't recall his name, wanting to know more about the picture and asking me if I had cut out that portion of the license number. And when I explained I had not, it was exactly as I had found it. The matter was dropped. I later did learn that photograph showed the back of General Edmund Walker's house out here in Dallas. He had been shot at before the assassination, and it showed the back of that house.
Okay. All right. Now, let me just, in terms of reviewing